when even it's added, it's still more than...
It's still more than the 15%. So
what's the percentage if you should roughly
around 36%.
That is in addition to the 5% that you've already increased to, then the 15%. But when you calculate the fees, you realize that it's even more than 36%. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
So it's not even 20%.
No.
And then we talk of the other charges they are taking from the traditional halls.
Let me roughly ask, how much was the fees and how much is it now?
So the University of Ghana charges fees based on colleges. Okay. So I mean, College of Humanities have their own different fees. Basic and Applied Science, the same. When you go to how do you call it? Sciences is different. So the percentages are hovering around that. I mean, from 28 to 36%, depending on the college.
Every college is different.
Yes,
with the increment.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, so could it be that majority of the colleges are paying probably 20%?
You know what I'm saying? That
increment.
The least they are paying is 28% increment, and the highest is 36, depending on the college that you find yourself.
Okay.
That is the disparity. And the other thing too has to do with, I mean, when the fees and charges were passed, we are anticipating that it also goes a long way to affect traditional halls because they are property of the university and the quote-unquote property of the state. Hence, if there's going to be any increment surcharged on school fees, then that same increment should be surcharged on residential fees. But to our dismay, I mean, residential fees is way up, more than 60%, because they paid 456 last semester, and they're paying 750.
That 456 was for a semester. That means first semester you pay 456, second semester you pay 456.
How much was it before? I always like to compare for the public to understand that. Okay, because it's not everybody that understands percentages. Yeah. So when my viewers are watching, I just want to break it down. So let's roughly say, maybe prior to this time, it was maybe 300, and now we are paying 446, or it was 200. And now, do you have a rough idea of how much it was costing before it moved to that amount?
Yeah, I was in school 2018, and I was paying 420 for a year.
Okay. Oh, for a year.
For a year,
which
yes.
is 2 semesters.
Yes, okay. For the 2 semesters at traditional hall. But getting to my final year, I was in Annex C. And so Annex C, we were paying as much as 840 something for a semester. So that means calculating the 2 semesters, I was paying over 1,500, and then for the traditional hall main halls, they were paying 420 something for a semester, and then both semesters will be 1,060 something. Yeah, so it was like that.
The 2 semesters will be about, so if it's 446, you said 446, then we are looking about 900 and something.
Yes, 900 and
okay, and then for the Annex C.
And
D, that moves you to 1,000 and roughly 1,600.
Yes.
Wow. What actually, brought to this increment? Do you have any idea? Has the management said anything about it?
First of all, it has to do with the whole COVID system. So prior before COVID, I was there before COVID, and then we didn't pay hall fees based on semester basis. We paid it the whole year. So I paid 812. That was the last, hall fees I paid when I was in Sarbah for the whole academic year, because we never paid hostel fees on semester basis. So fast forward, COVID came in, there was a modular system. Now batches started coming into the school, so hence the introduction of the semesterly based kind of fees payment. And at that time, we all agreed to it because now it's a modular system. Level 100s and 400s come, then 200 and 300s later. Hence, there's the rationale behind paying semester basis was justified. Fast forward, school resumes to normal, session. And instead of the university to revert back to its old ways by taking the academic residential fees academic yearly, like what it used to happen. They took advantage of the situation and started charging semesterly. So now, instead of, let's say, the 812, it was broken down in a point where you're going to pay more than that. So without they announced that there's been increments in whole fees, you just found that by adding both the fee that you pay in first semester,
it's become normalized.
And second semester, yes. So when I got to a point where the last time we charged for an academic year was 812. Fast forward just 3 years, just two academic years down the line, how much you're paying for an academic semester now is 1,500.
Wow. And what has been said about it? I know the student body, you're going out there to make sure that, you know, the authorities hear about it. But as you are talking, what are the authorities saying too?
Unfortunately, that is where the big gridlock is. Obviously, there is no way every other student can just walk up to management and then make their cases known. Reason why there's leadership. And I think that the SRC of the university has really failed the students on many fronts. First of all, I mean, with the university giving admissions to freshers as late as 22nd December 2022 and expecting them to report as early as 5th January, taking into consideration that we are having multiple holidays, taking into consideration that there's been haircuts on investment, taking into consideration the economic situation. I mean, they should give them some ample time. But on the university website, they have stated explicitly that level 100 should pay 100% before they can come to school. And the SRC did nothing about it.
I believe that the JCR also has a responsibility in the junior common room of the traditional halls, because before the fees come out, I believe they are aware. And so being advocates for students go way beyond speaking to management about the plight of students, talking to them, negotiating with them to reduce some of the fees, because after COVID, we thought that the fees are going to come back to normal, as he said, but then it's been that trend for almost 2 years now. And then the JCR, who are in the traditional hall, are not saying anything. So before we even go to the SRC, what about the students' leadership, yes, in that particular hall? I cannot blame that they allowed it to happen, but they are supposed to advocate for the residents of the hall. And I believe that the hall management too should have done something about it. But then it's just like the trend. This hall A says nothing about it. The other traditional halls will not do anything about it. I believe that if one hall had made a move on reducing the
are we saying that the JCR in the halls haven't done anything about it? They haven't spoken on behalf of the student? They just allowed it to flow?
That is why I was saying I want to say that I don't want to say that they have allowed. Probably they had conversations with JCR, but then I've been in the school for 4 years. After COVID, I've not seen any release whatsoever from JCRs concerning the fees increment. Most of the release I see is about paying JCR dues, pay this to this bank, pay that to that bank. We are in the hall. We will know when the JCR is doing something. I don't know for the other JCRs, but as far as I was a student, I was in Mensah Sarbah Hall.
Okay.
Yes. As far as I've been a student in University of Ghana, I do not know, and I've not seen any release whatsoever from JCR advocating for the reduction of fees they took from us as residents of the traditional halls. So I would say that, but if there have been a conversation that has gone on, I have not seen any evidence publicly that shows that they've done that.